Hey, how's it going, YouTube? We've got our first event of Split 2 of the RLCS, or Major 2 is what they're calling it. North America Qualifier number 4 has gotten underway. We've gotten through our double eliminations, and with that, we've taken our 650 teams and brought it down to just 16. Some pretty crazy upsets if you were not able to tune into this past weekend, with certain teams that are of most definite top 16 quality making roster changes and failing to make top 16 altogether. So with that, if you guys enjoy the content, as always, like, subscribe, notifications, hit those down below. And we're going to jump straight into it. So first things first, this is what seeding and everything used to look like. In the past, based upon the bracket, what they would do is they would take over the seeds from the competition they're playing. So hypothetically speaking, if G2 as the number 1 seed is running through the bracket and they were to lose, the team that beats them takes the number 1 seed going into Swiss. That is no longer the case. So here's the example. Regional seeding used to look like this. Based upon where they're at in the bracket, that's what the seeds were. And then these were the matchups. 1v15 to avoid first round matchups, 2v16, so on and so forth. Based upon going in with the mentality of what was supposed to happen, we did some early predictions on stream. We're like, this is what the team should look like. If the teams that were supposed to win were going to win, this is who would be facing off against each other. You know, you got G2 versus Deleted, so on and so forth. This is like the no upset Andy broadcast, okay? This is if everything goes according to plan. Luckily for us, that didn't happen. You're going to see here in my results and the notes that I've typed up what actually happened. First things first, Moist is the one that qualified in Dignitas's position. Hypothetically speaking, if the high seeds were to win, Dignitas was supposed to move through. What actually ended up happening is Dignitas in their first round got reverse swept by a team by the name of Triple Threat and dropped down to lower bracket immediately, which then made Triple Threat go up against Moist, newly signed, shoutouts to Pirates on a Boat. They ended up going into that spot. Pretty stereotypical stuff for OG. TSM, pretty straightforward. We assumed TSM was going to beat Cloud9. Again, Cloud9 is the newly acquired roster of Omelette, who went to Game 7 against G2 in Regional 3 or Qualifier 3, so congrats to them. They still battling and trying to make qualifiers. The newest team that I hate pronouncing, Netherlands Canada. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. You've got a player from the Netherlands that just is joining a player from Canada and a player... It's Taroko in his new squad. We haven't seen Taroko around since like Rogue like 2 years ago. It's pretty crazy to see him back in the running. But the other big upset as well is you saw Cheers take down Young Whippersnappers relatively early. So congrats to them on playing upset. That new Cheers roster, I'm pretty sure, is the new Rapid coached team that is trying to fight and bring in some results. I think it's him, Skills, and I forget who else. But Rapid's taking the coaching position of that. You then got M80, who ended up getting beat against Shopify Rebellion, a team that we all have seen the potential. Their midfield pressure is absolutely incredible when they are clicking, but is it the right thing? They decided, hey, are we going to get rid of Justin? Are things going to go in the right direction? They're choosing to stick together. From what people are saying, this was a reverse sweep as well. So a lot of reverse sweeps here, despite all the best of 5. So crazy stuff there. Shopify happy for that. Cloud9 Boulevard was expected. Snowman over Young Whippersnappers, I think, is expected. The big craziness here, though, is because you saw one of those teams here. This was supposed to be Dignitas versus Moist, and then whoever loses this would then go to this round. That is not the case. And because of that, Claverity, who decided to leave and then sign a new team, which was the former Lotus 8 roster with Nightya and Rari, and I forget the other player. They ended up playing against Triple Threat, which was supposed to be the high seed, and they ended up winning and making it through. So congratulations to them. Also really cool. Deleted beating 0-1 was expected. The difference, though, is that Deleted, same situation, lost in that first round. The expectation based upon seeding was them supposed to win here and go against Gen G. That didn't happen. So that created some chaos in the lower bracket as well. But Deleted beat 0-1. They end up making it through. M80 makes it through. Cheers and Incorrect. We knew that Incorrect and G-Buffalo were supposed to be playing each other. That was the expectation on what I set. And winner of this was supposed to be like Young Whippersnappers or something. Congrats to Cheers on making it through. But the chaos, because Dignitas got reverse swept up here, drops them down to a further part in the lower bracket, which 2 sweeps, then puts them against Energy, and Energy reverse sweeps Dignitas. For the second time today, Dignitas gets reverse swept. Energy is into the top 16. Dignitas is not. After the new addition of Stizzy, all the conversations I've had about it, I like Stizzy a lot as a player, but I don't know if him going into that environment is the right idea. I'm starting to put into question. Now, it may be a little bit too soon. There's a lot of circumstances. Stizzy is living in Lethamir's basement competing. You've got The core members of Dignitas, in my opinion, having some situations occurring. Maybe it's going to just take some time to build and develop versus Energy's new roster with Aqua, which seems to slot in a little bit better. But I do have and want to put into question the people who made the decisions on Dignitas need to be held accountable. And maybe it's a little bit too early, but like this very well could be the difference between having the rest of your season to look forward to or being done for the year. That is the cutthroat size of only 2 splits, only 2 majors to play for before the World Championship. But Dignitas, very likely, if they don't have an outstanding performance next qualifier, they're done. Their season's over. Crazy to think about. And then the team that I can't pronounce beats Mexiclica, and they end up making it through. So congrats to them. That gives us our team. In the past, with the way regional seeding would work, we would see some of these swap through. We had the lineups, and if we had split one, this is what the matches would have been. Okay, you would have G2 versus Netherlands Canada, Genji Deleted, LG Snowman, OG Cheers, so on and so forth. But with the new changes that have existed and some of the things that Blast is updating, is also doing some really amazing things, which is, hey, we are, for the top 16, going to make sure that the teams that are performing the best are going to be rewarded for it. We're going to take into account your previous results. We're not just going to let you assume the seed of who wins and who loses, and that's how you are determined. And because of that, it changes some things. So some cool stuff that ended up happening. Number one, there's now 4 tiebreaker scenarios. Number 1, your results from the RLCS determine your seeding. That's the dominant one. If you're still tied after your overall rankings, which some teams were, it then is your most recent placement in qualifiers, based upon if RLCS points or prizes are awarded. If you're still tied after that, then is your highest placement in the most recent open qualifier for this event. Okay, that applies to each starter. So if you have some new changes, maybe you brought in a team that didn't qualify, but now this new player in has, that also applies. And then if by all means you're still tied after those things, then we're going to ranked MMR. They want to incentivize playing this game. They want to incentivize, hey, you play ranked, you are playing our title, you are grinding the ladder, you're being rewarded for it. Ironically enough, that has already come into account. If we take a look at the RLCS standings, as you guys can see, G2, Genji, Luminosity, and OG out in front because they went to the major. They got those additional points. Easy as that. Dignitas doesn't qualify. Get out of here. M80 is in. Space Station and TSM are all in. And they're all tied. So now what do we do? Well, okay, let's look at the results. Most recent qualifier. Oh, TSM had the best recent result. They're your top seed out of those 3. So they're number 5. Okay, let's go to the next result between those 2. Okay, it's tied. Okay, who has the best overall result at all? Period. They're tied there as well. Well, shoot, what do we do? 4th and final. M80's a bunch of grinders. They have a higher ranked MMR. Therefore, they get the 6th seed, and Space Station gets the 7th seed. Pretty crazy stuff. And then the rest are straightforward. They're all tied up. No changes there, which then gives us our matches. The other difference now as well, and shoutouts to Zanil for pointing this out from the player Discord as well that they have for teams that are involved. They did update the rule standings and the changings to where now that we don't have to worry about initial matches playing each other. Because in the past, with the way that the schedule worked, one would end up playing 16, which they end up playing each other already. So they would do 1 versus 15, 2 versus 16, so on and so forth. That no longer needs to be the case because they're just taking overall seeds from your results. So they have these as the final. G2 versus Claverity, Genji versus Cheers, LG versus Netherlands Canada, OG versus Deleted, TSM versus Snowman, M80 versus Cloud9, Space Station versus Shopify, and Moist versus NRG. Now, those are not yet confirmed officially upon recording this video. This video will probably come out on Wednesday. But for those, they should hopefully confirm this beforehand. But if they do not, that is what we have. Those are the details. That is what went down this past weekend. On Friday at 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, the matches will begin. And we'll finally see our first round with those matches I just talked about going down. So should be a lot of fun. There's like 4 or 5 matches in there that I'm really excited to tune into. You get some rematches. Deleted and OG played each other, and Deleted ended up winning that one. You've got Moist Energy, M80 Cloud9, like some really good first rounders in there that I'm excited to watch. But as you guys have seen, upsets can definitely happen. Either way, appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. Appreciate all the love and support. If you guys have any additional questions, let me know in the comments down below, or stop by the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. I'm going to go time out Diego, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.